Well, guys, I decided to run over my mud flap this morning. I'm that guy today. What happened was I went to this little truck stop, and I've been there before, and it's got a bunch of mud holes in it, and looked like there was the only parking spot was there's a spot where there was 3 spaces where there were no trucks, and I seen a little bit of mud there. Didn't think much about it. Turns out, evidently, the owner had somebody to push dirt in the hole to try to fill the hole up, and the hole had water in it, so it was just quicksand mud. And so I backed my trailer through. It was dark. I couldn't see. It was I got there in the wee hours of the morning, and I never felt anything. I thought if it would have been muddy, real bad, that I'd have felt the trailer, sinking down and giving resistance on the truck. But anyway, I backed through it and couldn't really tell. And I was planning on stopping before I got my truck in it, but being dark and I couldn't see and judge distance, I backed up in the mud, hit the mud flap, folded it under the tire, tore the whole bracket off, and that's when I stopped. I heard the mud flap break. And for those of you who don't know, these are spring loaded is the way they work. This is the bracket. It's got 2 bolts in here that I'll have to take out, and it's got a big spring in there, of course, that broke. And so I get to dig all the mud out of these bolts here and take the mud flap off. I didn't want to buy one of them. Of course, you can only buy these hanger brackets in a set, which makes this twice as expensive as it has to be. But I picked up a set on the way back to the house. Thankfully, I didn't get stopped and get a ticket running with no mud flap, because they look out for that. But you see that big spring in there? That sucker's pretty good size. A chain on it, and that's what holds it. That way, if you back into something on the end out here, it's supposed to deflect up here and not bend or break. But evidently, that doesn't work when you run over the whole darn thing. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon before I go pick up another load. Got to get a mud flap put back on here. Which really I don't see how big of a deal that is, because your trailer's over it, when you got your truck straight. But DOT thinks it's a big deal for not having a mud flap. And, if I could see if it was on the back of the trailer or something, it'd be a little more to worry about. But anyway, we're gonna get one put on here. This was $120 for them stupid things. So that was my screw up today. So we're gonna get this mounted on there, and yeah, so I'll be right back with you. Let me get this mud off of here so I can find the bolts and get the stupid mud flap off. Alright guys, I got it off of there, and just washing some of the mud off of it so it'll look a little better and be easier to handle without mud all over it. Alright guys, got the old bracket piece off there. I had to heat the nuts inside there with a little MAP gas torch to get them to break loose, and then had to beat it off with a sledgehammer because it was kind of rusted to the frame there. But they make these mud flap hangers in 2 different bolt patterns, 1 1/8 wide and a 2.5 wide. And all they had was 1 1/8 in stock. And I looked at it just by looking through there, and I knew that wasn't 2.5 wide, so I knew it must be the 1 1/8. But if they don't have the one that you need, you can drill the hole. Drill another hole or drill the hole to match, line one of them up and drill the other one to match whichever they happen to have in stock if you run into a bind and you need to get a hanger because you run over your mud flap like I did. Anyway, we're gonna get this on there. I don't have my tripod handy right now, so I'm just kind of filming this in segments. But anyway, let me get it stuck on there. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, got the new one back on there. This one is not exactly the same as the other one. This one's got a rounded type tube. The other one has a flat type tube. You see where the tape's flat, the tape's rounded. Doesn't really bother me enough to change it. Not too worried about it. Probably write me a ticket now because that one's real shiny and this one's not. Anyway, I only put 3 bolts back in this one instead of 6 like this one, because you don't need 6 bolts to hold a freaking mud flap on. So anyway, and these are how this thing's supposed to work. I'm gonna push on it here and show you. See how it floats right there. not supposed to break off. See how that works there. But anyway, that's that. We're back legal again, and I gotta run. Till next time, keep your mud flaps on.